Did you hear him? He was saying grab your torches. Hello, America. The Obama administration is pitching government-run health care. Oh, it will be perfect. To cover 46 million uninsured Americans, despite opposition from the American Medical Association, some Republicans, some members of his own party, you know, just regular old folk. Tonight, here is the one thing. The president is going to give you a lot of malarkey. He's going to give you the headline, but to understand what this plan is really about, you need to go behind the scenes and listen to what these arrogant people have been saying now for years on what the real plan is. A friend of mine sent a video from veramserum.com, and I brought it in this morning. I said, you've got to see this. We checked out all the sources. It checks out. We added some new things to Veram Serum's great idea. Watch this.
I happen to be a proponent of single-payer universal health care coverage. As all of you know, we may not get there immediately, because first we got to take back the White House, and we got to take back the Senate.
So what I've said is, let's set up a system where if you already have health care through your employer and you're happy with it, you don't have to change doctors, you don't have to change plans, nothing changes. If you don't have health care, or you're highly unsatisfied with your health care, then let's give you choices, let's give you an options, including a public plan that you could enroll in and sign up for. That's been my proposal.
I'm a believer in, and certainly the president is a believer in, is that competition often is a very healthy component of any market situation. So in the design of a health insurance exchange, which is really what we're talking about, and what the president discusses, a choice of a variety of options is often critical.
So what I'm arguing for is a system in which both public and private plans are, with their unique strengths and weaknesses, are able to coexist side by side, so that all Americans, not just the elderly or the poor, have access to the distinctive strengths of a public health insurance plan as well as the strengths of private plans.
And next to me was a guy from the insurance company who then argued against the public health insurance option, saying it wouldn't let private insurance compete, that a public option will put the private insurance industry out of business and
Someone once said to me, this is a Trojan horse for single payer. And I said, well, it's not a Trojan horse, right? It's just right there. I'm telling you, we're going to get there. Over time, slowly, but we'll move away from reliance on employment-based health insurance, as we should, but we'll do it in a way that we're not going to frighten people into thinking they're going to lose their private insurance. We're going to give them a choice of public and private insurance when they're in the pool, and we're going to let them keep their private employment-based insurance if their employer continues to provide it.
This is not a principled fight. This is a fight about strategy for getting there, and I believe we will.
As Congress moves forward on health care legislation in the coming weeks, there are going to be different ideas and disagreements about how to achieve this goal, and I welcome all ideas. We've got to have a good debate. What I will not welcome, I will not accept, is endless delay or denial that reform needs to happen.
You know, I've told you for a while now that this is, I mean, did you notice some of the names involved here, especially the Tides Foundation? Tides Foundation, gee, oh, we know them because they bailed out Acorn. There are people and forces behind some of these things, and it is a completely dishonorable debate because they're not telling you the truth. I'm sorry. We're not listening to the truth. They are telling us, and you just saw what's coming our way. Dr. Brian McDonough, he is from MyMedicalReports.com, is with us. Can you explain in layman's terms, real quick, what did we just see?
What you just saw was an argument being laid out, designed to tell people there could be a one-payer system, but that it could happen drastically over time. In other words, slowly but surely get the insurance companies out of the picture, maybe little ones first and then the bigger ones.
Right, and that happens because, like, for instance, here in New York, it is almost impossible to be able to be a company and stay in business with the way they have rigged the insurance system here in New York City.
And one of the problems you're going to get is if employers have to pay into the insurance and employees have to pay in for insurance if they're taxed or there's some other form,
Sure.
They're going to say, I don't want to do this anymore, it's getting too expensive, and they'll either bail out or they'll be in another system. And, you know, the government can kind of wait around with their system forever till it takes over.
I'm a small businessman and I run a company and we take care of our employees and we pay 100% of their medical insurance. The insurance plan that we have is the best in the state. Our insurance broker said, you are the only company still in the state of New York still offering this to your employees. And I said to him, we'll do it as long as we can. But I know there are companies who want to provide it, but they can't do it anymore. And now Obama is saying that companies like mine, or other people's companies, they'll get taxed because their plan is too good. We're going towards a sea of mediocrity.
Well, and I think the issue here is you want fair competition, but in addition, we can't lose the important issue. The important issue is providing early care, preventive care, getting people access to care initially. And that isn't necessarily insurance-driven or government-driven. That's getting people access to care so you don't spend tens of thousands of dollars at the end. You help people out early, and that's what really care's all about.
I was amazed at how Sebelius said, often competition is important. Can you think of a time when competition's not important in America?
I mean, it's the whole principle. Competition is good, and with competition, usually things get better. And if you allow the competition to occur, it should get better.
Okay, let me play something here. Could you play the piece of Barack Obama today talking about General Motors and Chrysler, comparing this? Do we have that? Okay.
A big part of what led General Motors and Chrysler into trouble in recent decades were the huge costs they racked up providing health care for their workers. Costs that made them less profitable and less competitive with automakers around the world. If we do not fix our health care system, America may go the way of GM. Paying more, getting less, and going broke.
This is amazing to me that he wants to fix health care. It's not the unions. The unions, they got their share, everybody's fine, nothing happened there. It's the health care problem that caused GM to go down.
Well, and one of the concerns I have is this need to do it immediately. I think time is good. If you're looking at something that has so much money and there is so much at stake, and our nation's health care, there's nothing more important in my life and physicians and all of our lives as human beings living on this planet, you need to do this over time. We don't have to rush it through. This isn't a stimulus package. We should do it over time and look at all the options.
Not going to. Thank you very much, Doc. I appreciate it. All right.